reverse engineering the deadlift. Now, this is a term coined by Mark Bell from supertraining.tv. I'll leave a link in the description of the video I'm talking about. He talks about doing touch and go deadlift. It's sort of like a Romanian deadlift. It's kind of like the way he describes it, or you may see other people do what he's talking about. It's meant to be, it can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. This is my viewpoint, because my viewpoint of interpretation has more to do with beginners, people who are not proficient at all, people who are really brand new to the movement. So my goal is to teach you how to teach someone else how to deadlift safely, properly, and effectively. That's one of the most important things to me, is that no one hurts their back, and they're essentially able to progress their levels up to as high of a level they can without injuring themselves. So they have to know how to use their body properly. So Mark Bell talks about doing a touch and go deadlift, or sort of a touch and go deadlift. It's not quite like a touch and go deadlift. It's more like a lowering, like an eccentric deadlift movement. And what I'm going to review in this video is just talking about kind of how to teach a client. Now, if you take a look here from side view or side angle, you can watch my lower back and hips. One of the things that's very effective of someone with very tight hamstrings, hips, and tight muscles, the weight acts as a way to stretch their body. So I'm going to show you a RDL. So let me just do deadlift first. Okay, so from this position here, what you're going to allow someone to do is maybe bring their feet in closer than they would normally deadlift with, and then what you're going to do is you're going to have them brace their abs and have them lower their body and shift their weight back. Because the more they shift their weight back in this position, the lighter the weight's going to be. And as they lower the body, what you're trying to get them to do is you're trying to get them to maintain a vertical shin and keep a nice tight arch in the lower back. So that way, as they get pulled down towards the ground, they really stretch those hamstrings out. And that way, they can feel their hips. This is kind of an important position for them to be in, because if they're not able to maintain this position, what's going to end up happening is they're going to have their lower back round. Essentially, you're fighting between you. There's a fight between the hamstrings and the lower back. And a lot of the time, the bigger muscles win. In this case, the hamstrings are going to win, and what's going to end up happening is the hips are going to roll under. So the method of teaching the RDL, or Romanian deadlift, as a method to teach the deadlift is a good way to do two things. One, tell them to stay tight as possible in the core, and number two, know where their hips and how their hips are related to their lower back. So that way they have the ideal position and they know what they should feel. Because a lot of the time, for a lot of people, especially people who have sedentary jobs, they're not going to be able to get down to the bar like this and grab the bar. I can't even get down to the bar. I'm extremely stiff. I'm very tight. So for me to get down to the bar, I have to come down like here and then organize backwards. Just like I said in a previous video about organizing your spine. Because a lot of times people use so much of their lower back is because they don't have the kinesthetic awareness of their body. So what you have to do, again, like I'll review again, you grab the bar, you have them pick up the weight, make sure they stay tight in the stomach, and you have them slide the bar down down their thighs and force an arch in their back, keeping a braced abdomen. And as they reach down, what you're trying to do is have them maintain a vertical shin. And from here, they're going to hit a point where they'll get really tight. Typically, I had a client that got to about right here, and they're super tight. And so they can't go any lower unless their lower back round. So what you're going to do is you're going to have them allow the weight to help them pull them down and make them arch and have them maintain the arch in their back. A lot of times what will happen when they get to about here, you'll see them begin to give out the lower back because they can't maintain position. Because a lot of time they have to arch the back like this, and that's actually not good. Like what I just did, it's not good because that's, with a heavy load, that causes a lot of spinal shearing because I'm moving my spine under load. Luckily, this is not a lot of weight for me, so this won't really give me any problems. But for someone who is new to the movement, they'll definitely feel their lower back get really stiff, really sore, and sometimes if they have history of tight lower back muscles, they're going to end up probably getting a pulled muscle. So it's important that you pick the appropriate amount of weight for an individual and that someone's warmed up properly. So again, picking up the weight, reverse engineering the deadlift by having them lower their body down, tightening their abdominals and shift their hips back, and allow their hamstrings, glutes to stretch out as they reach down for the ground without feeling their lower back. And a big part of this is as they lower their body down to grab the bar, there's going to be a bit of a challenge for them to feel their lower back round. They might feel it round, and you have to teach this. So what you're doing as a coach, as you watch them, you're trying to find out as they lower the bar or reach for the ground, you're looking to see where their lower back is. And you know what? It might even be better for them not to use a weight at all. And just see if they can touch their toes without rounding their lower back. Or how far can they get to their toes without rounding their lower back. And you want them to feel that. So this is for me, for example, with my knees with a soft bend in them, reach down for the ground. This is about as low as I can get. before my lower back begins to round, right? So if I have a weight, I can have it pull me down. So what I'm going to do, for example, I am very tight. As I come down, brace my abs, and keep arching my back. And what this weight is doing, it's stretching me out. It's stretching out my hamstrings, and it's helping me get into an ideal position while being aware of my hips in relation to my lower back. Now, a lot of people out there will say that this is not a good way to teach. There are a lot of different ways to teach. It's really just a matter of finding the right way for the person. Remember, coaching cues and teaching someone how to lift, deadlift, whatever movement it might be, is strictly between the coach and the trainee. And it's understanding kind of what cues are going to work for somebody else. Because a lot of time when you see stuff on YouTube and other videos, some of the stuff is really bad or bad for certain people. It's understanding the context. The context of this movement is for someone who is having trouble maintaining an arch in their back while doing a deadlift. See, look how tight I am. I reach down for the ground with my legs fairly straight with a slight bend in them maybe. And that's about as far as I can go before my lower back has to round. I either have to bend my knees more or push my knees out more to get lower into position. If I extend my legs more, that's about where I'm at. So for me to get lower, I have to round my lower back or I have to squat down. But then if I have a weight on my body, I can use the weight to help stretch me out. So because my hamstrings are so tight, I can actually hold this position here because of the way my hamstrings are set up. And it's understanding that relationship between the hamstrings and hips, adductors, complex, all right here, in relationship to your lower back to control the pelvis. And remember, those hip muscles, hamstring muscles, or glutes are extremely strong. And when they're tight, that lower back is not going to be able to maintain position simply because these muscles here are so much stronger than these ones. And it's understanding how to use your muscles. If your lower back has to work extra hard to maintain the arch, it's going to make them tweak their back or get really tight or get really sore. So it's understanding they have to brace their core to maintain a really good position. Reverse engineering the deadlift using the RDL, Romanian Deadlift. Go ahead and click that like video if this video helped you and you got something out of it. It really helps me out. Subscribe if you want to get more great stuff on lifting, getting better, getting stronger, and my other philosophies when it comes to strength training, becoming a better coach, or just becoming a better overall stronger human being. Click the next video in the series if you want to see more stuff coming down the pipeline as far as other educational stuff for improving yourself and lifting weights and getting stronger and improving your deadlift. But other than that, thanks for taking time to watch, and I'll see you on the next video.